Welcome to There's a Method to the Madness. My name is Rob Maxwell. I'm an exercise physiologist and personal trainer. I'm the owner of Maxwell's fitness programs, and I've been in business since 1994. The purpose of this podcast is to get to the real deal of what really works, and most importantly, why it works. Hence the name, There is a Method to the Madness. Before we get to today's topic, I want to thank our sponsors, Jonathan and Lynn Gilden of the Gilden Group at Realty Pros. They are committed to providing the highest level of customer service in home sales, and they have the reviews and the sales to back that up. So give them a shout, 386-451-2412. Today we have a special guest, Miss Emily Blake, who is a former student of mine, and she is opening up a new project down in New Smyrna Beach. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce her, and we're going to talk a little bit about what she's been up to. How you doing, Emily?
Oh, I'm great. I'm honored to be here. You've been a mentor of mine for over a decade, and a real inspiration throughout my career and my own fitness journey.
I remember when you came into school and you were a Kaiser student, you guys had you had a good class. Like, you had a class of people that really went and did something with it, which I think is pretty cool. And you took it into, I wouldn't say different directions, because people get into yoga and stuff, but what have you been doing since you graduated from old KU?
I did stick with fitness for a while, and I worked actually for one of the businesses I externshiped with, Nautilus. They were missing as you know, I've practiced yoga for years.
Mm-hmm. Did you do yoga prior to coming into school, or did you get into that afterwards?
I've done yoga since I was a kid.
Okay.
My grandmother has been doing yoga since I was a child, and it's something I've always loved to do. I didn't get my teacher certification until right after I graduated in 2013. And then since then, working at Nautilus, I worked there in the gym for a while, helped out with some of the training and front desk, and there was a huge need for a gentle yoga class. We offered level 1 classes, and we even had some older teachers that were almost too skilled, I would say, for some of the clientele there. So I came up with a program just once a week, which developed into a few times a week. For people that are just starting out, it was mostly a seated class. It was about 30 minutes of seated exercises, and then about 10 to 15 minutes of like a vinyasa flow and a really long meditation. And I think it was perfect for the clientele that was there and was something that was missing. So I really enjoyed that time that I had. And I taught right up until the day before I had my daughter, who's now 9 years old, and had quite an interesting pregnancy with her and my second daughter. They were both emergency C-sections. But after having Riley, my first, yoga was the first thing I wanted to get back to. It was the first thing I wanted to do was teach again. And I did that through most of my pregnancy with my second daughter. And I had complications about halfway through, and I had the obstetrician and everyone pretty much telling me, you need to stop teaching yoga. We can't tell you to stop teaching, but you need to take it easy. My blood pressure was out of control. I don't know if you remember, that was one of my things through training. You helped me find a good cardiologist in town. I had always struggled with a heart condition in my early 20s and high blood pressure, and it was one of the things that really led me into sports medicine, and wanting to go that route was to learn more for my own health and to help spread the knowledge that I had learned already.
You and I had a conversation the other day when we reconnected, and I didn't remember that either. So I went through this blanking period, I think.
It's been a while.
But I don't remember the cardiologist deal either.
Yeah, well, it was when we were all going to go for the Tough Mudder training.
Right.
And there was, I think, 2 obstacles that you were a little bit concerned with. The electricity and the water.
Yeah.
And
so did you end up doing that?
I didn't.
Okay.
I think
that's probably a smart
there was
call.
a small group, I think, that ended, maybe 4 out of our class that really ended up going through with it.
Yes.
And it was the first time I think I really realized that, okay, I can't do everything. I need to set some physical limits, but it doesn't mean that, I can't have fun and I can't do most of the things.
And don't you think that actually makes you a better trainer, instructor?
100%.
Understanding you have your own limitations.
And it's one of the things that I think helps when you teach a gentle class or a variety of ages.
Empathy.
Is you need to, you have to have that empathy, and you need to teach people. No one knows the limits. You don't know the limits of my body. I don't know the limits of your body. But if you can teach someone to know when to stop, I think you taught me, you'll say it better than me, but the difference between pain and discomfort. And that's something everyone has to learn for themselves.
Right, for sure. And so is your blood pressure under control now, personally?
It's under control. I do have, I go to the cardiologist every 6 months to check up, and I do have 2 leaky heart valves that I have to keep an eye on.
Okay.
But my blood pressure is under control, and exercise and nutrition is really the only way that I've found through it. I've taken medication in the past, and I still have a small medication I'm working on getting off with my cardiologist. But so long as it's under control, that's what's important.
Who was the cardiologist I referred you to?
I don't know who you referred me to. But
I can't remember that either. Stoner, maybe? Dr. Stoner? I think he's one I used to utilize quite a bit.
I don't know, but he was such a good friend of yours that he did an EKG on me for free.
Oh, wow. Okay. I should remember these things, but I'm glad most importantly, I'm absolutely glad it worked out. And that you got on the right track. And I absolutely remember you being an excellent, excellent student in a great class. So anything else in between before?
So after having kids, it was a little hard. That's been part of my journey with building this new business. Is it was hard to make money as a trainer and a yoga instructor. Most of us have to go to multiple gyms. Have a variety of schedule, as you know, with having your own PT clients, their schedule's all over the place, and it's not guaranteed money. You're typically a contract employee. You have to worry about taxes and gas and insurance, and I needed something more stable, and I had always wanted to do real estate, and I worked on that while I was pregnant and got my license and wrote my first contract actually in the hospital the day after I had Ray. And I did really well with that. I loved design. I ended up working for a builder for about 5 years and was able to live on HGTV and design some custom homes and work with some amazing people. But I also got lost in the rat race of working all the time. I worked every weekend. I worked over 40 hours a week every week. Didn't take a vacation for years, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. And between having 2 kids as a single mom, it became really difficult to go to the gym, to find any classes available at the times that I was available, or to even have the energy to go to a class.
For sure. And that's another area you can relate to then.
Yes.
Right? Where you bring your own little special touch because you've been through it yourself. And you're absolutely right. In the personal training world, I've told all you guys when you were students, I said, you're going to have to understand that if you really want to make significant money or a living, you kind of have to own your own place or find your way into cardiac rehab or something like that. Because you're right, being a subcontractor, independent contractor, where you're at the mercy of gyms, you're at the mercy of what they are going to give you a percentage-wise and all that. It's hard. It's a tough living for sure.
Yes.
It's definitely it's a hard living. So I used to say, you better love it if you're going to get into that side of it. Or find your niche like you did. So let's talk about that. I mean, you were always so creative in class, and you still are. I'm staring at her card that she made here. It's super, super creative. I mean, it almost looks like you. Is that you?
No.
Is that supposed to be you?
No, that's a good collaboration with a friend and the owner of the building in Visions Park. He's been amazing with the graphics and helping me because that's the part of the business I'm not good at.
But you are good with display, though.
Yes.
Like,
yes,
you're very
I have a
professional.
vision.
Yes, you're very professional. And like, you know, you got your ducks in a row. And before you've even opened up, I mean, this is a great card, but I'm looking at NSB Studios, and it has a woman doing either like, say, yoga dance move style, flowing hair. I mean, it's just a really good design. So what got you into this? Because as soon as you told me about it, I thought it was a super cool idea and absolutely needed. These are things we don't do. Like, I do individual personal training and things like that. We don't do classes, and so we need it. And we need professionals like you that have good yoga certification and a degree. So what got you into this?
Well, I feel the same. There isn't something like this around. I think there's a huge need for families. There's a huge need for seniors and gentle classes. And we're not a gym, and I don't plan to compete with any of the gyms or any of the studios that have yoga classes or Pilates or even Tai Chi, which we're offering. I hope that we're a collective of people, and I hope other gyms and studios will be able to use us as well, because we also have space available for rentals. We have a nice bistro next door with smoothies and different things for lunch and dinner. And there's 3 Airbnbs on property as well. So if someone, you know, even like yourself, wants to come in and do a wellness workshop,
Which we're planning,
the space
by the way.
is available.
Yeah.
And I think that will be one of the things that we're growing in the next couple months as we come into the holidays. People are always looking for corporate events. When I worked corporate America, it was the same dinners in the same places. And I would have loved to do a yoga sound bath lunch with my employees and get to know them in a different way. My main focus with this new project, NSB Studios, is to bring something a little bit different to town and something for everyone. We will be offering a variety of gentle fitness classes, yoga classes for families, mommy and me dance classes. We have Tai Chi, Kung Fu, Tai Chi for health and balance, which is great for anyone with injuries or starting your fitness journey, anyone trying to get up out of bed in the morning a little bit easier. I have a women's self-defense class coming, which I'm very passionate about, and DDP yoga.
Right.
Which is something probably new to the area, not a lot of people are interested in, and just a lot of general fitness group classes.
But everything's going to be class oriented.
Everything's class oriented and a lot of body weight training. We do have some equipment, but I'd like for us to be able to spread the knowledge that we have as instructors. So it's something that people can take home. I've heard so many nurses and doctors in like the cardiac and pulmonary rehab arenas, and you know, they put them through these wonderful programs and then they send them home and hope that they remember the exercises or look at the worksheets. And in reality, they don't.
Nope.
I think for me, fitness is kind of like food. It's something I like to be social with.
Right.
I get so much more out of being in a room with other people's energies. And if you've ever taken a really good yoga class and felt that feeling, there's really nothing like it. And same thing for fitness. You meet like-minded people. We're in a town that is full of drinking and surfing and a lot of art and wonderful activities, but there's, I think, a little bit of a lack in classes that really anybody can go to. Like I said, the moms and families out there that are trying to find childcare for their kids and still get fit, it's a real challenge. And it's not just making the class, it's finding the babysitter, it's the cost of everything. It can be really overwhelming. So I'm hoping to bridge the gap with that, and then also help our senior population, which I feel has been neglected with.
And there's a huge one in New Smyrna.
There we
Huge
are
senior.
over half of the population
And most
is
of
over
Volusia
65.
County, really.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, quick question for you. Are you someone who wants to be fit, healthy, and happy? And what if I told you you could get your dream body by simply just listening to a podcast? I'm Josh.
And I'm KG, and we're the hosts of the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast.
Listen, we get it. Fitness isn't easy. Carbs, no carbs.
Just stop, okay? It doesn't have to be that complicated. And that's why we made this podcast. We get straight to the facts so you can become your best you.
So the way to check us out is click the link in the show notes or search Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast on any of the major podcast platforms. We'll see you soon.
And you said something interesting before we logged on and started talking, and you're absolutely right. Like during COVID, people really found out how much they need other people, and everybody was so isolated and staying home. And as you know, I pay attention greatly to the industry and what's going on and what's happening. And what they're finding is the number one openings in fitness is small group studio type places, because these big box gyms that became kind of popular, I'm not bashing anybody, but say like Planet Fitness or some of these gyms, which are good box gyms, meaning if you just want to go in and use equipment, they're fine, they're cheap. But what they're finding out is people need more. They need people. Mm-hmm. They need people to talk to. They need people to lead them, to guide them, to help them. They don't really, like you said with the cardiologist and some other things, they're not going to take their sheet and do it. And they're not going to take their sheet to the gym and do it.
No, I'm one of them.
Right.
I have a degree in this,
right.
And I struggle with it every day.
Do you know how many trainers I train still?
Yes, exactly, because you want someone to push you,
yes.
And you need that engagement, and you need that commitment of somewhere you need to show up.
Accountability. Mm-hmm. And as the industry has said for years, when we look at the number one reason somebody hires a trainer is for accountability. They want that appointment. They know, say for example here, they know my first appointment's usually Jake. So he knows that around 7 o'clock I'm already here. Mm-hmm. He knows. You don't have to worry about it. Now, if I'm not here and he's going to another gym that doesn't have somebody like you waiting for them, he may not go. Right? So yeah, absolutely. I think the idea of classes, it's the same thing as one-on-one. It's like people are going to be there when you get there. And people do need that social. So when you talk about gentle fitness, I think that's very important. What do you mean by that, though? What can seniors down in New Smyrna or Port Orange or Daytona expect when they come in for that?
So a general fitness class that will offer modifications that you will be able to do. So anyone coming in at any time should be able to either grab a chair if that's where you're at. I know several people that have disabilities where, maybe they can't do any leg exercises.
Right.
But they can do everything we do with arms. Mm-hmm. And even with the leg exercises, there's modifications for things that you can do. We do have wonderful bright cobalt blue chairs for those who need chairs.
You guys love blue. I drove by that building.
I love blue. We're painting the town blue with our colors. We've got
the town blue with fitness. That needs to be a slogan.
Yes.
I like that.
I haven't come up with one, so I'm open to
I like it. It's a wave of blue.
Yes, it is. It's a wave of blue and fitness waving through New Smyrna and the whole Volusia County area, and we get Orlando and everyone else, all walks of life.
You do,
coming
because,
to our beautiful
Orlando
beach town.
Yeah, exactly. They come. So, don't you think it's the modifications that a lot of trainers lack? You're right. People see things they want to do, or a trainer gets an idea of what he thinks the person can do, but then they don't understand modifications, and then the person feels left out. Right?
Exactly.
So don't you think when you're offering your gentle fitness class for, help older people or people with conditions or whatever like we all have?
I'll be in the gentle fitness classes.
Yeah.
So.
You got to modify, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And to have someone who has the knowledge to show you in a nice way, hey, if you just flip your wrist this way, it will be so much easier. You'll get so much more impact out of the exercise, and you won't go home sore. It
blows me away how, to me, that's so basic, and yet when I do it with somebody, they act like they've never heard it. And I'm like, wow, I've told you this a million times, just put your thumb up and you're not going to feel shoulder pain. But yeah, little simple modifications are a game changer. And when you have the instruction, like good classes have, I mean, that's a win-win. So you mentioned something about yoga, and you know, you hit on something that is so absolutely true. And I'll be honest, it probably keeps me out of yoga classes because, you know, as a guy, you know, pretty athletic guy, that means I don't have the world's greatest flexibility most of the time. But you have a guy that's going to kind of cater to that a little bit. So talk about that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we just hired an amazing trainer, Bobby Fish. He's a former WWE wrestler and still wrestles. He has been trained in DDP yoga, which I know some people are familiar with, but if you're not, it has been developed by Diamond Dallas Page. And it's a mix of yoga and calisthenics and some different exercises that use modifications for people who have gone through any form of rehab. His background is actually, he used yoga to heal himself after rupturing his spine. And over the course of his own fitness journey has developed this DDP yoga program, which involves exercises and yoga. And I think is a little bit different style and would suit a lot more populations than I think what we think of the typical vinyasa yoga class.
What does vinyasa mean?
So vinyasa is your flow classes where you typically do a series to dumb it down. It's your inhale, arms up, exhale down, and your downward dog, your up dog, downward dog.
So it's kind of like one into the other, almost like a
Yes, it's
sequence.
a nice sequence flow. And there's a few different ones, but most clients that go to yoga, they're aware of a basic flow. This is going to be a little different. And it's also being taught by, I think, a little bit different style trainer as well, that may be more welcoming to our male population and even some of our more gentle fitness-friendly seniors that are looking to try some stretches. And this is all stuff people can take at home and hopefully help empower them through their fitness journey as they move along.
So what would you say the percentage of male to female typically in a yoga class? Like 25% men, maybe 75% women?
I don't even know that it's that much, to be quite honest. And I've only taken 2 classes by male instructors.
Okay.
When I taught, I only had one typically in my class that would regularly go, and he went with his wife.
Okay.
So.
And they're usually, the guys from what I've seen are like usually studs, like they're really good at yoga. That's what I've seen. The ones that
you do
go.
See a lot of that, and there's some really fun poses for guys once they get into it that, you know, it's a little more challenging for women to do some of the arm balances and things. So I think once guys do get into it, they really enjoy it. But I mean, I talk to people all the time and they're like, I would love to try yoga, but I'm just really intimidated. And it's true. You see the stereotypical girls in their yoga pants and their little tops and their Lululemon
and they
bags.
do intimidate people.
And you know, if you're overweight or, you know, you're older and you're just new to this new form of exercise, it's really overwhelming.
Because like so many things, that's kind of become one of the things where you do get the clicks. Like so many different fitness, not just
100%. 100%. And it's hard for people to break through those barriers, and especially as a new person just walking in. It's why a lot of us like to bring our friends to fitness classes because, you know, at least you have someone else there.
You can go hide in the corner with somebody.
Yeah, you can make fun of stuff if you need to and still have a good time. So I'm hoping with our schedule to label everything, you know, not senior fitness or injury friendly. Everything will be labeled gentle. This DDP yoga will also be a gentle class. And we have a variety that I think anyone will be able to come in and, you know, look at our class schedule for the week and say, wow, they've got 50 classes and 10 of them I would love to have and 2 of them fit with my schedule. So
is that about what it's going to be, 50 classes or so per week?
I've built up about 50. We have some different workshops. We have Lyra training coming.
When do you guys open?
We open Friday the 13th for our grand opening, which is this Friday. Pretty soon.
That's right. I do have
And
that.
Saturday we start classes. And we have some amazing classes on Saturdays. I have a wonderful yoga instructor that also does sound healing with the crystal balls.
I wanted you to talk a little bit about that because I know Ellen's real into that. Talk a little bit about that. I've heard great things that they actually use that a lot in different rehabs. So what is that?
Well, she's going to offer 2 different classes. One will have more yoga, 45 minutes of yoga, and about 15 minutes of sound bath and meditation.
That's Saturdays typically, you said?
Let's see.
Or 8.
I have her doing a family sound bath on Sunday, and I actually have her mostly during the week so that people can come. We vary, but about 6:30 to 7:30 in the evenings, and sometimes they're a little bit later. We're doing a family sound bath, so people can come in. Those will be 30 minutes of flow, some yoga for all ages and all levels. And then 30 minutes of sound healing. So she has 7 crystal bowls and kind of like an amazing drum circle of healing sounds and a frequency that will run through your body that is just, like you said, it's very therapeutic. There's really nothing like it. If you've never done it before, I definitely recommend at least once.
And for my fitness people out there, that think that's a little... I don't know, like out there or whatever, trust me, it's very effective and there's research behind it, and you got to give it a try because there is so much to the energy in all of us that needs to be brought out, and there's a lot of good stuff in there, so definitely. So I thought that was really cool. I mean, you guys are doing some stuff that's not being done, and I think that's pretty neat. And you said
that's the goal.
Tai Chi. Even.
Tai Chi, yes. We have a really great instructor, Marlon. He's
Where'd you find all these people? I mean,
they just fell out of the sky.
You know how hard it is to find these people, and you're like naming like 10 good instructors.
Well, I've been fortunate having roots in the community that some of them have been referred to me or are friends
that helps.
through my wellness journey.
It's a good thing you haven't burned any bridges.
Right. Yeah, thank goodness for being a good, honest person.
Absolutely.
So Marlon comes down actually from New York. He still has his practice up there doing Kung Fu and Tai Chi.
So he's doing both the Kung Fu and the Tai Chi?
He's doing Kung Fu, Tai Chi, and a women's self-defense class for us on Friday nights from 6:30 to 7:30, which I also feel is very needed.
Very much.
To empower the women in the area. I hope to have a family self-defense class soon as well, so that everyone
Now, when
can
he
join.
does the Kung Fu and the Tai Chi, will he be taking people through the belt system as well, or is it more classes?
We have not decided that. I'm not trying to start a dojo.
Okay.
For the short answer of that.
No, that's good to know.
I'd like to do a series where people can do levels. So like with the women's self-defense, for instance, it's a 3-part series. The first month, we're just going to offer level 1. And then as we progress next month, we'll do a 1 and 2. So if you've already taken 1, you can pop into the 2. And if you haven't taken 1. And so we'll probably do things similar as he progresses with the students and kind of sees where they go. I'm sure it'll evolve into something else. I've given my instructors pretty much free rein to with their creativity and also soundboarding with me of what they would like their classes to look like. And as we move forward, what their students like, what are people saying? What works? What do we love? Do we want a half Tai Chi, half yoga class one day? I don't know. We have had a lot of enthusiasm though over the Tai Chi. I've gotten several phone calls over that.
I've taken a few classes.
And then obviously the yoga and gentle fitness and having any form of family fitness. Any of my mom friends are very much on board with being able to take their kids into a class in the afternoon after school, get their workout done, get them home, get them fed, and feel like you accomplished the things that you needed to, and also hopefully build that bond with your children. It's something that I try to do is show them how I would like them to be, and there's no better way than showing them you're in the gym.
Absolutely.
And this is how to be healthy and happy and fit.
Well, we got a couple minutes here, so I want to make sure that everybody knows how to find you. You were telling me that how you do your payment plan is really cool. Kind of like, how I've done it here. Just you buy your workout packs, which is, I think, great. So nobody has to feel like they're committed per se yearly. So NSB Studios, what's the best way to start to look for you?
Probably the website,
Okay.
nsbstudiosfl.com.
And by the way, I will put the link in our show notes today for that. So if you missed it, just check the link afterwards. I'll make sure I enter that.
And you can RSVP if you guys want to come to our grand opening. It's this Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. But driving down US 1, if you are heading south from Port Orange area, New Smyrna, we're going to be on the right-hand side. It's a big teal building. There's 2 buildings, and we are the one to the left. It's Visions Park, and it's brand new, just opened, well, opening soon. If you're coming from the other way and going north down US 1 and heading towards the beach, most of us usually make that right to go down to North Causeway.
Mm-hmm.
We're just past there on the left. And you'll see our big bright sign at night. We've got a giant TV screen up
We
there.
went down yesterday because we were in New Smyrna and we looked and it was so easy to find. I said, oh, there it is right there. And you got your logo out. I mean, it's very nicely done. And I think that's, for me, I take a lot of I don't know if pride's the right word, but gratitude to see that students that I mentored, you're the boss now. That's pretty cool. You're talking about all these people that you're putting out there and stuff. I mean, you're running the show. That's pretty cool.
I'm trying to be the studio guru. And
That's great.
Let my instructors help spread their wealth and knowledge, as well as my own. I'll be doing a kids yoga class on Wednesdays to start, and I'm sure evolve as this business gets up and running by itself. I'll teach a little bit more. I know you were asking about that.
Yes, yeah, but it's hard. I know that it's very hard to get all that up and running and also take classes for sure. It's but it sounds like you really hired the right people, so you won't have to worry about that.
We have an amazing group. I'm very excited for everyone to start and to get bodies in the door. It's just been me running around. So, yes, I think once the word is out, we'll have full bodies in there, and there's no better place to be than around your friends and family and working out and getting all those good hormones through your body.
So if anybody is interested in the open house Friday, please check it out. If not, it sounds like they're going to be open Friday and Saturday. And again, check the show notes for all the information. It's Emily Blake of NSB Studios, and the phone number is 386-690-9066, nsbstudiosfl.com. Emily, I really appreciate you doing this. It's great for the podcast because, as I said, people love guests. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. It's been an honor. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Now I would like to thank our other sponsors, Overhead Door of Daytona Beach, the area's best garage door company. They have the best product and the best service. Please check out Jeff and Zach Hawks Overhead Door of Daytona Beach at overheaddoordaytona.com. The garage doors go up and they go down.